Okay, welcome. Something for the screenshot next week. Well, I'll address that in a minute in the chat, John. Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry. We're back to our online gathering. Hopefully we're going to be joined by features next week for the online and a live feature for our last, but definitely not last ever, show at the Assemblage Gallery as part of 4 Point Arts Community. If we are able to pan this out, it'll be a longtime friend of Stone Soup finally coming home. It's someone we haven't seen, who I haven't seen at least for 4 to 5 years, if not longer. But this was someone who was with Stone Soup from the very beginning of my tenure as a host at the Out of the Blue Gallery in Prospect Street, later on Mass Ave. And then after that, it was hard to reach this person, but hopefully it'll be a great homecoming. More to be announced. And we're going to get to the open mic tonight. I might be putting some links in the chat. There's a couple of poetry journals that have deadlines tonight for midnight on November 30th. One is called Mid-Level Management or Mid-Management. I'm messing up the name in front of me, but they have two separate calls for submissions, both ending tonight, midnight, November 30th. One is under a poem sent under the theme of 2 weeks notice, and the other one is a poem sent under the theme, however loosely or closely you want to base it, on the theme of holiday bonus. So you have a couple hours to find something and send it in by 11:59. Hi, Blackbird. We are so glad you're here to join us.
Is that midnight Eastern time, Chad, or midnight?
Yes, well, 11:59 Eastern time. Yeah.
Yes. Hi guys. Hold on one second.
Blackbird.
Turn on the light. Yeah, I had to update my app, I guess. So.
No worries. We're glad to have you. We're just gonna get started with the open mic that we got, and right. I'll put you on the list. Good to have you. Let's go now to our first pick. I'm hoping we can get Rusty Rose on here. She said she'd make it. Patricia Carrigan, I haven't heard from. Julie Mary Hui sends her regards. She was not able to make it. But we do have our legacy poet to start off with. Let's welcome up Julian Powers.
Thanks, Chad. One forbidden film, so there would be no nightmares of home, but then told us the story of a man hanging in the bell tower over love. Only word heeded in teenage years as we crept beneath the old stairs, looking for ghosts, crawling into the crypt out on the edge of the estate forest. Deep in the woods of North Scituate lies my friend's home that was in the film House by the Cemetery. My friend's father was afraid it would have a lasting effect on his daughter and friends if we saw it. But the stories he told us of the house's history was by far more frightening than this creepy Lucio Fulci movie. Thanks.
Nice little factoid loaded poem. Thank you so much. And now let's bring us to one of our phone participants who just joined us a short time ago. Let's ask her to unmute by pressing *6, and let's welcome Nancy Dodson.
Energy fades. Go to sleep, dear, and say, I want to feel rested today. What's that noise? Hum, hum. I'm asleep. Yes, come sleep, come. Hum, hum. I can't write. It's that noise again. I'll turn on the light. The neighbor's lights are out. No electricity occurs without a doubt. I can't write with or without my pen. The alarm clock won't work. Woe for me, for sleep lurks.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Moving right along, and let's welcome up next. Poet has had Stone Soup features. He's had multiple features over the last few months. Hell, I swear he's been featuring on the average of once a month for like the last 2 years. This man does not stop. He is a featuring machine. Let's welcome up Mr. John Wesick.
Well, thank you, Chad. It's just because people requested, I guess. Maybe you entered the wrong bar, took a shortcut through some creepy alley, or your car broke down in a bad part of town. How you got here is not important. The iron fingers squeezing your windpipe and switchblade nicking the skin under your eyeball are. Your attacker's breath smells like one of the corpses he's no doubt made, and nothing you do or say will stop him from plunging that knife through your eye socket. You pray for a savior, and he appears. It's General Idi Amin Dada, former president for life of Uganda. Chest brimming with self-awarded medals, he asks, "What's all this then?" before bouncing your attacker off the pavement like a basketball in one of those Kampala pickup games the opposing side dared not win. In gratitude, you accept his invitation to dinner. With lips smacking in front of a mountainous platter of meat, he relates his exploits, the white-hot iron spikes rammed in his enemies' rectums, and how the bodies of rivals thrown in the Nile clog the Nalu Bale Dam's intakes. He wipes greasy fingers on the tablecloth and points at your plate. "What? You're not eating."
Thank you, John.
Ooh, too short, too short.
We got another round in this round robin. Let's for now, let's go over to Jan Rowe. I believe she has a piece for us as well.
Hi. Oh, I'm on. Okay, this is called Dozens of Tanker Railroad Cars Fall Off Tracks. Boarding the DC bound train in Connellsville, PA, we were unknowingly on the first passenger train, the Capital Limited, since the massive derailment that we also didn't know about. Observation deck. Stair-step Mennonite or Amish kids, and I watch a cell phone, enthralled that we can see the train we are on snake through the mountains, reminiscent of Tickleby, until we come upon dozens of tanker railroad cars strewn along the tracks and in people's yards. Cumberland, Maryland, Queen of the Alleghenies, very steep. The oldest people on the East Coast supposedly live here as a result of the steepness. So the rail freight carriers, they've cut their workforce by 25 to 30% during this last decade. So the workers must be very available, and the carriers now control hiring. So if you're scheduled off, it doesn't matter. You're probably called into work. And if you don't return the call, and Mountain cell phone coverage is still bad, if you don't return the call, you get demerits. And our Congress may force railroad workers to continue to accept this. Anyway, for the railroad freight carriers, the stock buybacks are up. Soros bought the NSF and got much more money than he thought. Cumberland train workers lost their jobs. Well, the reason for the derailment? Possible error on the part of the carrier. They were supposed to cross Pennsylvania. There's no reason to get into the Allegheny section of the Appalachian Mountains. There's to go south than north, rather than straight across PA. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And who do we have next? Someone who was we reunited with as part of our last live show in November, or was it or was it September? I can't remember. Everything's going so fast. Angelo D'Amato is with us tonight, joining us online, and I'm very happy for it. So take it away, sir.
This is called Vespers of the Drowned. Love me, for I am lost in the gloaming, I say to the water sprite. I know not how, she murmurs, but her voice is a fresh snowfall beneath a gold-smeared sky. It is the dappled sunlight ringing on frost-bitten leaves. Sing me a song of gentle times when I swam in pools of purified morning blue. So the water sprite sings, and the rhododendron buds swell beneath the dusting of snow, and the river flows cool, and the salmon swims strong. But I have drowned in the gentle melody. Tell me I'm loved. That I cannot do. She fades. Bubbles rise toward cold moonlight.
Thank you, Angelo. And who do we have next? Oh, here we go. Let's segue into Mr. Bill Lewis from Out of the Storm. Out of whatever storm cloud he's under, I can relate. Bill Lewis,
indeed.
everyone.
Let me pull back the storm cloud then. It's not that much of a big deal. Now, you, of course, are curious about my little darling here. Just a moment. I shall introduce you. This is Hermione. She is my hermit crab. You are probably curious how an old fart like me ended up with a hot little crab like Hermione. Well, let me tell you. The weekend before last was MIT weekend, where the high schoolers come on campus, and the undergraduates organize it and teach classes, and I get to teach classes with the undergraduates. And so I was sitting there waiting for the time when I'm supposed to observe somebody else, and I hear one of the directors, and she's mumbling, "Artificial intelligence, AI, oh dear." I asked her, "What's going on?" And she explains to me that the person who was going to do the AI class had an emergency, and I said, "I'd be happy to do it. You get somebody to cover my observation class where I just watch somebody else teach, and I shall take care of it." And she was so overjoyed. She ran off and she found me one of the mascots. So this is one of the mascots for MIT undergraduate education high school thingamajiggy. So this is Hermione, and I am bragging. I'm so bragging. The future. Yes, we can do it. We are doing it. We are the ones. We are the ones that we were waiting for. Except we were never actually waiting. We were just, well, you just couldn't see how hard we were going at the time. We were always going somewhere. Somewhere? Where? When? Well, here. Now. We are the ones. This is the time. We are building the future. Me, little nothing me, I am building the future. A tiny bit of the future, but I'm building it. Are we not all? 50 kids who are just a little bit more educated, who are going to ask more incisive questions for the future teachers. 50 kids who will have a slightly better life just because I was there. Yeah. We are building the future. Let me tell you the glorious future that we are looking forward to. And me, I did that. I did my part in building a bigger, brighter future.
Thank you, Bill. And more returns tonight. We haven't heard from her in a while, and Blackbird is keeping busy. She'll tell you a little about it. Hopefully she can unmute herself. Hopefully she's there. Uh-oh. Oh, there you are. Blackbird, you want to step to the mic? You're muted. There you go.
But of course,
There we go.
hello, hello, hello. Yes, I have been busy. I know I had promised I was supposed to come out with a book and an album, but of course that was delayed due to certain. Hi, Mr. Ashbra. I miss you too. So you know, I'm also currently pregnant, but I'm about to like give birth in literally in 2 weeks. But I'm still working. I have a feature coming up on December 7th at the Fusion Grills. It's somewhere in Dedham, but you guys will find the information on my page. So I'm not quite sure how much the tickets are, but I do know that the discount code is Cyber Monday. So that's capital CYBER and then capital M Monday. So yeah, that's about it. And just being a mother. And yes, I'm currently going through a divorce right now, but I'd rather get out of that situation now than continuously be domestic, um, in a domestic dispute, a domestic violence relationship. And that's what led me to write this new poem that I am going to share with you guys now. And it is called She. So you guys might see me off camera because I'm using my phone to read off the stuff. So 1 second. Okay. It may change a little bit, but for now, I'm just gonna read how it's done right now. But all right. She suffereth in silence. So many things she wanted to say, but she gets shut down. The status quo of what it means to be a woman. She was taught late. No proper guidance from mom, no love or affection from dad. She's never been at a family reunion, never had a Christmas or even sung carols with her peers. She is sometimes lost in her mind, trying to please everyone except herself. Low self-esteem, low confidence. She doesn't feel beautiful anymore. She has a husband, but he is not happy with her. She forces herself to love him like he wants her to, but she forgets herself in the process. Used to move about wherever she wanted to go, did whatever made her happy, but now finds herself lonely again. What will it take for her to find love or be loved the way she deserves to? What will it take for a man to understand her? She realizes now that will never happen. No one is perfect. No woman is perfect. No man is perfect. But God is perfect. My Heavenly Father is perfect. He often reminds me through adversity that He made me the way I am for Him. And if any man were to go against me, we'll always have to answer to God Himself. She suffereth in silence. So many things she wanted to say, but she gets shut down. The status quo of what it means to be a woman. She was taught late. But God said, it's never too late. I made you in my own image. You are beautiful just the way I made you, inside and out. If any man is against that, what I say, will have to answer to me. So this loneliness she feels, she has to allow God to work through her, even if others don't agree, because she desperately needs to learn to heal and love herself first. That's it. Feels good to be back. You're muted, Chad.
Thank you, Blackbird. Glad to hear you again.
Thank you.
I wasn't muted. I had a cold. No, anyway, let's go to, I don't know what that means. Let's go now to Mr. Galt, Edward Galt, aka Magister Galt. The mic is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I guess this is my Thanksgiving poem slash Christmas poem belated. We call it my holiday poem. I wrote a poem some years ago called Holiday Food, which I think you recorded and posted on YouTube. So you can also go for that for a similar theme. But this one is called The Duck Procession. This is it, the duck procession. Each of the ducks had a little black veil on its head as they filed by in a line. They would not take the bread offered by children. They would not listen to the lady at the juice kiosk making her quacky noises. They wanted us all to see that one of theirs had fallen prey to hunters on their weekend fling and was now simpering in its own juices, later to be served at the table with cranberry sauce. Thank you.
Sorry about that, pulling double duty. Thank you, Ed. And if I'm in the other room, I'm hearing you with the phone I'm using to help get Carol connected to our call. And speaking of Carol, let us release her from her mutedness and give her her turn on the open mic.
Hello.
Hi, Carol.
So this is very short. Now I lay me down to sleep with the possibility of nuclear war. If I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. That's it.
Thank you, Carol. Let's see, where do we go from there? Oh, we go to the next person, of course. Let us take us now to Mr. C.C. Ashagra.
Okay. I did a feature thing at this thing called Cobalt. And when you do a feature there, the guy, Rick, Looper, he makes you a broadside and you send him a poem. So I'm going to put that in the chat and you could all download it. It's free. If you got a 11x7, you could print it out. It'll fit on a smaller one. And it's the Jack of Poets. So if you want, I could share screen and you could see it. I'll do that if that's possible.
Let me fix that for you now.
Okay. And Ethan, I don't know if you want to go for this. You know the poem. It has a rhythm and a feel, but if you want to just try go minimal, it wouldn't hurt to give it a shot. I could always do it again. I've never done this one to music.
Yeah, I can do it. It's just the shared screen can mess my computer up. So if you don't mind doing it without that.
Yeah. If Chad could pull it off, just crossed my mind that, you know. Let's see. I'm gonna share a screen and
Oh no, the share screen messes my computer up.
yeah, but the sound will work, right? You just
All
right.
right. It's just I'm gonna have to I may have to log off and log back in.
Let's not share the screen then. If there's a chance that he might.
All right, I'm just gonna share it long enough for you to see it.
Okay, sounds good. That does look
Okay.
nice.
That's a beautiful thing. It's got a bio at the bottom that he told me send him a bio. I said use the one in the book, but it was practically a book itself down there. So
Okay.
anyway, okay, let me stop that.
Well, actually, I do have a different screen on right now, and so it should be safe. So let's try it like this then.
So share or don't share the screen.
Share the screen.
Okay, there it is, folks.
All right.
Here goes. All right, hit a note, and this is the open microphone, Jack of Poets, from the open microphone, Human Rights, Free Speech, and the Word, 20-year anniversary book. Jack of Poets dealt with the art of voices feeding. You at the end of all moments that die. To guard hunger's right to speak free of truths starving. A recipe to savor the heart of time. The air of soup gives as the winds of words carry. Then they came one by one to this word of mouth. Each came to add to the soup's endless giving. Amongst them were those with end of the world ears, questions on madness, on what peace of mind is, for the sounds of hope birthing and the soul of words resting deep inside the life of inspiring alive. And so came the contributor, the gift of precious wisdom, not hungry to share, just happy to donate. No need for a portion of speaking one's poetry, others to read, saying, I'm hungry enough to be here my will, eating my own words, to stay the crest of my depth resting here upon this stage, to crave what reveals my mind for you and for me and for the blank page awaiting what is empty. Admitting my donation here is more than my presence, less than my pride, and beyond my self-importance. As the listeners surround our voices to hear, through the quiet mind of receiving, I'd never think so much of my life position. Believe that my life will, to believe my life will, to believe my life will never know such a hunger. Admiring, what courage to admit words in public, to know nothing in the hand of the voice can still feed you. As the Jack of Poets once said, they are willing to be scared, to give and receive their love exposed fears, alive for some living, to nourish the lone soul. Obadiah. Music, Ethan Mackler. DCR Chagra, the open microphone, 20th anniversary. Thank you, Jack Powers. I think it worked. Did it come across?
I would say so. Thank you, CC, and thank
Sweet.
you, Ethan.
One for the books.
Very
So
nice.
I'll put the link if anybody wants to order it. I'm not charging for shipping or anything anywhere in the US. If you're outside the US, I'm just starting to figure that out, whatever that costs, you know, to get it to you
I've
there.
got my copy.
Woo!
I'm getting mine.
Yes, thank you, and thank you.
It looks like you've managed to turn Bill's world all around.
Not my fault.
And let's see if we can get him upright again with the help of Ethan Mackler. Let's get yours spun on.
Thank you again, Ethan. That was sweet. Sweet finish. Love it.
Thanks, Ethan. And you even got Bill right side up again. I knew that would work. And now we bring it to Mr. James Van Looy. Please check out his column tomorrow at 11 o'clock. It's all one thing, oddballmagazine.com. A lot of good work there this week. A lot of good, strong stuff in the weeks to come. And we're also accepting submissions for what I call the Christmas Wars. Your own commentary, however loosely based on the so-called war on Christmas. We get some interesting results every year. But for now, let's go now back to Mr. Van Looy.
Thank you. Thank you, Chad. So I have a poem here called The Rolling Back, or is it Forward? After the biennial rolling back, or was it forward, of the now digital clock of the business imposed regime of time itself, I wake late again. And only I could get ready to go out so quick. Even peanut butter sandwich to Eden Station in the now inevitable wait for the train that will exceed the again digital clock proclamation of when the next train will not go out. And it's cold, alone, almost in the station as I sit reading my grandfather's cousin's book, as he describes as teen rage young carriage Reitig painter going out with his three-legged stool to draw, and gives a detailed portrait of Harlem, my grandparents' hometown environment centuries. And suddenly, with the ubiquitous invasion of Ukraine and the invisible many years long siege of Yemen, I'm transported back to Harlem, 150 century and a half years ago, where Jacobus, as in Jacobin dynasty of James, is recovering from the lost hole of his first little girlfriend, Lencha's lean the loan of consumption, out on the Hoogste highest sand dune that looks to the tower and Ryder roof of the Grote Kerk, and all the way to the North Sea, and Zandvoort, and finds a little beetle he then names the boss, and sets up his stool and gives a little extra wisdom. In Netherland was veel te zien en leren. Niemand ging bijna meer niet de truckschuit. Al was die veel goedkoper. Tijd was geld behalve voor Haarlemmer wezen. Langzaam aan de brekt, het likte niet. Elke stap was een. Viele kleintjes maken en grote. Iedere tag een nadje maakt en borststuk in je jaar. Suddenly, I realize I'm just reading it, except with a little help from my dictionary, Dutch to English. And I'm so lucky. I've been there 7 times and sort of kind of know what he's describing, but then he says, see the geloven, the believers, hasten niet, say Mr. Julesen, gedulg and not gedulg, duty and still duty, stand in, help uself to lezen. And there it is already. Help yourself. Mid-19th century America, already part of rock-rid Dutch Reformed Calvinism, a century and a half ago, and I have it in my bag to consume with my butter ham, peanut butter sandwich as I sit waiting for the train again, late in the empire, without clothes. They can't run the trains on time. And I got a Dutch song for you here, which is about coming back to the lights of the Schelde, the Lichtjes van de Schelde, which is the port city of Rotterdam's dock area. The tide zit erop en we waren weer in paus. Het duurt nog maar enkele weken. En per keer opwacht en dan kom ik naar huis. Dan zullen we lekker weer spreken. Dus this is the laatste brief die ik je schrijf. Kijk avonds maar goed in de krant. Dan weet je precies waar ik ben en ik blijf. Voordat het weer terug komt in te land, zie ik de lichtjes van de Schelde. Dan gaat mijn hart wat sneller slaan. Ik weet dat jij op mij zult wachten en dat je aan de kei zult staan. Zie ik de lichtjes van de Schelde, is dat ik in je ogen kijk. Die zoveel liefs vertellen, dan ben ik als een prins zo rijk. Thank you.
Thank you, James. And we'll do our second and last. Oh, thanks for the link. John. Very cool. And we'll do the second and final round of our round robin night. We'll start again with Julian Powers.
This is a really short one. My father's passion frightened me when I was too young to know the difference between temper and spirit, confusing me when he'd smile after yelling. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. And up next, let's unmute the first of our two telephone poets. Let's ask her to unmute, but press *6, and let's hear from Nancy Dotson.
10,000 heavy bowling pins. When the pins are on fire, one ball rolls and mows them down. Heavy pins on their side. In my dream, I see 10,000 pins. Concentrate until the bowling pins lie down, down, down.
Thank you, Nancy. Who do we have next? Let's bring up back Mr. John Wezek.
Okay, thanks. Speaking of the Netherlands, there's this place in The Hague called the Madurodam where they just built this entire city in miniature, like airports and stuff, and you can like walk around like Godzilla among all these great buildings. It's really cool if you ever get a chance. It's wonderful. What was the Cyclops' name in the Odyssey? I pulled out my dog-eared paperback of Homer to find the answer, but all its pages were blank. Odd. I checked Shakespeare's complete works and found the same thing. I rifled the dusty pressboard bookshelves that sagged under the weight of my fiction collection. The words had walked off the job in Chekhov, Hemingway, Richard Yates, Raymond Carver, and dozens of others. After dropping the blank volumes on the carpet, I checked the rest. Dictionaries and textbooks were untouched, as were Borges and Italo Calvino. Only one book on quantum mechanics remained on my Kindle. Puzzled by this mystery, I drove to the library and found a picket line blocking the entrance. Dressed in toga and crown, Oedipus shook his fist at the cowering librarians and shouted, "Does my love life amuse you, perverts?" Hester Prynne carried a placard with a struck through A in a red circle. James Bond chanted, "I hate martinis." "What's this all about?" I asked Scout Finch. "Fiction readers get their rocks off by watching us suffer. We've had enough and demand sick leave, a $15 minimum wage, and that authors follow OSHA workplace safety rules." I sat on the steps in the shade of a stone lion to contemplate what she'd said. Why did readers enjoy the suffering of others? Must fiction rely on thwarting characters' wants? How could one write a literature of love, mutual respect, and solidarity instead? What if Juno's parents had put her on the birth control pill? What if Humbert and Tom Ripley had gotten the therapy they needed? What if Joseph K. could afford a better lawyer? Would deciphering an alien language without some rogue general threatening new interstellar genocide still interest a reader? Before I had time to answer these questions, Robert McKee led a squad of helmeted writing students carrying truncheons and riot shields into the square. "This is an illegal assembly," he shouted through a megaphone. "You have 5 minutes to disperse." The strikers shook their fists and cursed. McKee gave the order, and the riot squad attacked. In a stunning example of conflict in fiction, a rubber bullet shattered Oedipus's eye, while readers stayed up past their bedtimes to witness pepper spray disable Hester's Prynne and zip ties bind Jay Gatsby's wrists. Riders clubbed Emma Bovary to her knees, kicked her ribs with steel-toed boots, and tossed her bleeding body between a hardcover's pages. The scene shot to the top of the New York Times bestseller list. In their review, they praised the riot as a triumphant return to form.
Sweet. Love it. Thank you, John.
Thanks.
Jan, do you have one more?
That just appeared in a little magazine called Commuter Lit on Monday, by the way.
Oh
So.
yeah, I saw that. I didn't get a chance to read it, but that is sweet. Jan, are you ready to go?
I do have something that was in this week's Black Seed, and we're going to the service tomorrow. Don't hurry. In memory of Steve Murray. Steve Murray passed to the other side. Daryl called me when I was on Zoom with Stone Soup Poets. Texted him and found out. I had just unexpectedly seen Steve at Forest Hills that last Indian summer, warm Saturday. I didn't realize that would be the last time I saw him on this side. Such lack of realization happened with Chris the Drifter, Al Action, petite 80-year-old Patty Clark, 47-year-old Tenzin a Tibetan. Reminds me of Thornton Wilder's play, Our Town, where characters see each other, but not really, and definitely not as this may be the last time before passing on to who knows where. So the last summer, Dean Amy, Steve and I intersected in front of the church. They both had relatively recent and significant hand injuries. Before the pandemic, Steve had a long commute to his job at the car wash. After the pandemic, that job was gone. He was shy Medicare, but managed to get some health insurance. Steve, Kimberly, his daughter, and I were glad to get full-size G.I. Joe Navajo code talkers for his 3 stair-step grandkids with their Native American heritage. So that last warm Saturday, the last time I saw Steve, I was in a hurry to catch a bus back to Ashmont, but missed it. My friend Chris, who I was exchanging with at Forest Hills for the first time, went to catch the 39. In my hurry, I didn't see where Steve went. I pray to see more and not hurry, because I have hurried since the last time I saw Steve. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And now we can bring back Mr. Angelo D'Amato.
All right. This is called Ozymandias at the Jazz Age Manor. How goes the piano? Asked the maiden with a gossamer gown of scarlet hue, and the man with the rapscallion tufts budding behind his ears turns like a fat-lipped fish in an unclean aquarium, gawking at the floating fecal strings before bumping against the algae blooms bounding across the eternally curving glass. When we last spoke, you were going to be a magician of the keys. Etudes would fall from your fingertips like Judy Garland's lemon drops. You would preserve us all in amber, and we'd waltz around a varnished Steinway until the sun surrendered its corona, burned through the earth, and died. What happened, she pleads? What happened? And the lugubrious fish extols the flight of seagulls in salt-heavy air and the passing of vagrant ferry boats festooned with luminous cerebrum. I went to war with the keys, the man says, as wine glasses shimmer and silver coins scrape across marble tabletops to consummate the dealings of the men with tobacco-tainted teeth. and the piano played me. A harpsichord cracks, the trumpeter is off key, and rose petals fold inward, away from the sorry light of the oil lamps struggling to keep them warm. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela. Hope we see you live a couple weeks from now. Up next, we have, is he right side up again? Yes, we have Bill Lewis joining us one more time if he so wishes.
Well, I am just pleased and honored to be able to come out here and spend time with y'all folks. It's just the greatest thing ever. Me and my little Hermione, isn't she cute? Yeah, so anyway, we do what we can.
Looks like you muted yourself. We can't hear you right now.
Oh, I've got 2 mutes. I can mute myself twice in 2 different ways. Oh, well, who cares?
That's too much power, but go on.
There are strange things done neath the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that can make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen strange sights, but the strangest they ever did see was the night on the marge of Lake Labarge that I cremated Sam McGee. Now, Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the South to roam around the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but that land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell, though he'd often say in that homely way that he'd sooner live in hell. On a Christmas day, we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your coal through the park was fold, it drove like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd close and the lashes froze till sometimes we couldn't see, it wasn't much fun, but the only one to complain was Sam McGee. And that very night as we laid packed tight in a robe beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed and the stars overhead were dancing heel and toe, he turned to me and, Cap, says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess, and if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no, and he says in a sort of a moan, it's this cursed cold, and it's got right hold, and I'm chilled clean through to the bone. Yet it tain't being dead, it's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that, foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. A pal's less need of the thing to heed, so I swore that I would not fail, and we started on at the streak of the dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched in the sleigh and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. Before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death that I hurried horror driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of our promise given. It was Lash's sleigh, and it seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and your brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate these last remains. Now, a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail hath its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were numb, in my heart how I loathed that load. In the long, long night, by the lone firelight, while the huskies round in a ring howled out their woes to the homeless snows, God, how I loathed that thing. And every night that quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow, and on I went till the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. The trail was bad and I felt half mad, and I swore I would not give in, and I often sings that hateful thing and hearkened with the grin, till I came to the long marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, and I saw in it thrice that it was named the Alice May. I looked at it and I thought a bit. I looked at my frozen chum. Here, said I with a sudden cry, is my crematorium! Some planks I tore from the cabin's floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found was laying around, and heaped the fuel higher. The fire flames just roared, and the furnace roared, and a blaze you never did see. And I burnt a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. And the heavens scowled, the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. It was icy cold, but yet the hot sweat rolled down my cheek, and I don't know why. And the greasy smoke made an inky cloak that was streaking across the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, but the stars came out and danced about ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked. I guess he's cooked, and it's time I looked, and then the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the midst of the furnace roar. He wore a smile you could see for a mile. He said, please close that door. It's fine in here, and I greatly fear that you'll live in the cold and storm. Since I left Plumtree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. Robert Service.
We know him well. Thank you so much, Bill. And let's see if Blackbird wants to come back for one more. She's back.
You want me to go on now or after the other guy?
You can go on now.
Oh, all right, great. Awesome. Okay, so while I was listening to you guys, right? You won't believe this, Chad. Like, you're gonna be like, what? I literally just finished writing a new poem just now. And it's a poem that I've been, just thinking about in my head, but finally found a good title for it. And bam, I got it in like less than 15-20 minutes. This is so cool. Yay, me. Sorry guys, excuse me. I'm tired and I'm pregnant, so there you go. Okay, it is called Bundle of Faith, AJ's poem. My bundle of faith, you're about to be here in 2 weeks. I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet you. However, I should warn you, my little faith, you will be entering a world of chaos. You have one parent that has anger issues and insecure with his security, leadership, and how to love a woman. And your other parent, she also has anger issues, but mainly with depression and anxiety from past and present traumas. But don't you worry. We are both here ready to love you. You also have a sister who will lead and protect you, love you and teach you, but don't get on her bad side. She's a feisty one. Don't borrow without asking, or she will never trust you. You also have a brother. You guys will get to grow up together. He is only 4 years older than you, but I know he can't wait to meet you too. My little bundle of faith. I call you Faith in this poem because it took over a year dreaming and actually planning to create you. Asking God, please bless me and give me another chance to do it right this time. You know what they say, 3 times the charm? And your brother and sister can attest to what we have all overcome. But don't worry, we will tell you all about it when you get older. I love you, Antoine Alexander Knowles Jr., my bundle of joy, my bundle of faith. I can't wait to meet you. Aww.
Congratulations again, Blackbird.
Thank you. That's like the cutest poem I ever wrote. Thank you, guys.
Speaking of babies, hi, Nico. That's Julian's pug. Oh, baby. Okay, up next we have.
So wait, what's the baby's name gonna be? Anton? Your name?
Oh, yeah, his name is gonna be Antoine Alexandre Knowles Jr.
You should put that in the chat.
Okay, I will do that.
Thank you.
Yes.
And now let's move on to Mr. Ed Galt, Magister Galt himself. If you want another turn, sir.
Thank you. This one is just for a little humor tonight. This one's called Fennel Toothpaste. I hate Fennel toothpaste. The next time she buys it, I'm going to take the tube and squeeze concentric designs on the mirror. Then let it sit for a while just to see if it will harden. Or maybe I can caulk the windows with it. Or use it to superglue those broken gift plates. Or to plaster the tile in the bathroom. Or to patch the holes in the hallway. Even the common plain brand has a better taste. And there is simply no point to fennel toothpaste. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. We'll save any differing opinions for the comment section for our chat. For now, let's go now to, let me make sure she is freed up to talk. And let's welcome up Carol Weston.
Oh, hello. What I want to do is the poem I had on my answering machine. And I used to have it on my answering machine. And Garrett Lansing loved to listen to it. And my sister Emily detested it because, you know, it takes time to listen to a poem. And two sisters are like two notes on the piano. They are side by side, unable to escape each other. But anyway, we persevered. Anyway, so these are the words, and it's by Henry Vaughan, and I think he's sort of 1600s. Maybe the most powerful poem I ever heard. I saw eternity the other night, all calm as it was bright, and round beneath it, time in hours, days, years, driven by the spheres, like a dark shadow moved, in which the earth and all its train. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. You're getting like you're getting very polite but enthusiastic claps. And up next, let's bring back Mr. C.C. Ashagra.
Okay. You mentioned this this thing a minute ago about the contest that ends at midnight, and I went there, and the theme was 2 weeks' notice, right?
Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
contest; it's actual publication and an issue.
I mean, so when you mentioned my name, this is as far as I got. I'll read that. Dare the dawn of freedom's spawn, as the screw of time clocks turn, the wake of work's obituary, the funeral of forced labor comes. The casket's wood is no longer a tree. The obituary ink is now dry as I dream. Well, as I dream, that's where, I mean, I'm working on that line now, but that's, so, okay, from the book. This is also number 8 in in the first section, Scared Sacred. Minor miracles and this constant occurrence. The stage is undressed with empty voices, and ears are painted on seats spread about, with a few of the tabletops adorned with lip images. Here a legend spoke of some sound-minded witnesses who have sworn on their graves to have seen the lips move and speak aloud, "I hear you, I hear you." The tale goes, you see, words appeared and then disappeared around each painted ear on each seat. All the words seemed to say the same thing, but each one expressed in its own way this thought: I hereby choose my independent listening. And on that very night at the open microphone, it was really not unlike many others. When sounds off the stage changed the physical shapes of heart, influencing the wind to move the wings of hope in flight. Over the earth found emotional rains and ranges of tears falling, cold to dry the quiet of sadness, while soaking the loud now and now sounds of dead silence. Those who are happy here may remember being lost in the corners of minding darkness and becoming exposed to light, recalling how their pain hid and waited to be born, or life inspired as to fall in love by the reading of each word by word. Here, just for a living chance that a listening experience will be here, touched, faced, breath taken, and felt is finally heard. The link is in the thing. I'll put it there again. Thank you very much. This took 10,000 lives to write. That's a new way of putting it that way just now for the first time. But yeah, that's a lot of work, and it waited 20 years. And I don't know if anybody remember Melissa Goodrum from way back. She used to come to the open mics. You remember Melissa Goodrum?
Don't think
She's
I met
in New
her.
York. She's in New York now. She's in the poetry world. She's in publishing. She gave me a quote for the back of the book. She put,
Yeah.
he reminds us that we are human. He makes the reader feel eternal, communal, and an essential ingredient in the multi-voiced story of the human tribe. That's an excerpt from Melissa Goodrum. The full paragraph she sent is inside the book in a section called Praise, along with some other names. I hate the name drop, but Kate McQuaid's in here from the Boston Globe. So that's it.
Thank you, CC. Oh, is Ethan Mackler still here? Yes, he is. Bottom left, at least by my screen. Might be bottom right if you're watching on YouTube. Ethan, you want to have another go? Awesome. Ethan Mackler, the pulse of Stone Soup and the Boston poetry scene, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ethan. And bringing us home, raising the roof back up after everyone else brought the house down. Let's welcome back, closing out with Mr. James Van Looy.
Okay. So this is called the Attack of the Zombies. Trying to respond to current vibes. It's another Why I Hate Cars poem. The living dead was always just a voodoo doll from some obscure island in the Caribbean Sea until some up-and-coming filmed The Night of the Living Dead just down the Pennsylvania Turnpike when I lived in Fayette County, PA. Even this youthful brush with mindless threat failed to alert me to the strange virus whose symptom had somehow just emerged so close to the state college system I found with vets like me in school on the GI Bill. Since then, Vietnam vets were still all suspect, ready to go off the sound of a loud firecracker or the churn of helicopter blades that chop their way through anything alive in their way. Always another alarm and hectic emergency. And even before the creep movement managed to re-elect that strange, gawky, inhuman thing that waved its arms as if it were a lurching doll, somehow I already intimidated the rainforest disease and read of the takeover of vital rainforest lungs that gasped in shock at the advancing intruders so intent on what they had no capacity to know, ready to do anything you could possibly imagine, and all for nothing, all for an arcane compulsion to make everyone so impossibly just like them. Until now those of us still alive again, after long rides on dark roads so far away out there in the country hills, which you cannot hope to see, loom over it all, while we are still riding on twisting roads where anything could appear in the headlights. Senseless, unstoppable, advance. Pretty is further than I. So take my house, roasted in the weapons night, what half the ounce met hands get done, that all is but attempt in Freddy bestand. Marks filled with mark, and told the spell, long for a car, dragons he met the hell, there no up night, summoned a gun, let all is but attempt in Freddy bestand. All is but attempt in Freddy bestand. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming back tonight. I appreciate you guys being patient for us to come back and taking a week off because the holidays were just absolutely nuts. I still wish I could have taken you guys or spent any time even after Thanksgiving to get you guys together. But I was no lie, after 5 hours with my family, I was like falling asleep. I was asleep for like 3 days. It was that exhausting. I hope you guys had at least enjoyable times away from the open mic, and I hope you guys come back next week. Hopefully we'll be announcing the feature by Friday, and hopefully the feature coming up in 2 weeks at the Assemblage Gallery 4 Point Arts Community is going to be announced as well. I've already started the making moves, talking to people, and hopefully we'll have a more concise answer by this Friday. If not, we'll find somebody else. And no matter what, by year's end, we're going to be moving forward, and we're going to have more live meetings at the Assemblage Gallery because that's what the gallery wants. And we're going to provide that. And we have a lot of excited people who want to be a part of that. And moving forward, we're going to try and make everything hybrid. So wish us luck in that. Check out all the submission opportunities I put in the, I think there's one more I have to do. But I might actually put that up on the, excuse me, on the Stone Soup group tonight. It's also 11:59 Eastern time, due time. And there's also the Wilderness House Literary Review, which accepts publications until the end of December 1st, tomorrow. So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things to take advantage of. I also posted links on the Stone Soup Facebook page to the next Posey magazine, the Boston Punk issue, and also another anthology of modern poetry that they're looking for people to submit to. A lot going on, a lot you can do till the end of the year. I'm keeping on. Hope you guys all do the same. Let's got to do the obligatory wave before I forget. It's good to see a lot of you here tonight, and hope I get to see you guys, at least a good chunk of you guys, live coming up in 2 weeks. And I hope when the new the extra live show is announced, when we decide on a day, we'll be able to bring some of you for that as well. And I'm going to start to put in motion plans for the 52nd anniversary of Stone Soup existing in this coming May. So stay tuned and have yourselves an excellent evening. It can be like this every week. All we need is you. Do another wave bye-bye to Nico, who apparently likes fennel toothpaste. I'm not going to debate that. Have a good night, everyone, and see you next time.